You are listening to Passport Talks, a podcast on how to become a true cosmopolitan, how to travel the world without visas, create a safe haven for your family, and access top-notch education and healthcare with a second passport or residency.
U.S. passport by investment. How to get an immigrant visa. Acquiring a U.S. passport involves obtaining a green card and going through the naturalization procedure. There is no direct option to get an American passport solely by investment. A green card is a permanent residence permit granting holders the right to live, work, and travel to the U.S. without visas. However, certain rights such as voting and civil service positions are exclusive to U.S. citizens. Green card holders must adhere to U.S. laws, maintain tax residency, and spend most of the year living there. The green card is initially valid for 10 years and can be renewed indefinitely. Residing in the U.S. for at least 183 days yearly is essential to maintain green card status. Two main programs allow investors to obtain a U.S. residence permit: the E2 nonimmigrant visa and the EB5 immigrant visa. Alternatively, individuals can get a green card as an employee through an EB1C visa, which is available for multinational managers or executives employed by a U.S. company. Requirements for the non-immigrant E2 visa. The E2 visa does not provide a direct path to obtaining a green card and citizenship. It is valid for 5 years but can be renewed unlimitedly for 2 more years. To pursue citizenship, E2 visa holders must first apply for a visa requalification, which leads to obtaining a green card. The requirements for an E2 visa are the following: investing in an American company, typically starting from $100,000 to $200,000, often through the purchase of a franchise business. Creating a minimum of 5 jobs. There is no guarantee of a return on investment. The investor must provide documentation proving the legality of their sources of income. Living in the United States and actively participating in the company's management is required. The investor must leave the United States if the visa is not renewed or a green card is not obtained. Only citizens of countries with a special agreement with the United States can apply for an E2 visa. Not all foreigners can obtain this visa. The easiest way to obtain an E2 visa is by acquiring second citizenship from countries like Grenada or Turkey. Investors can receive passports remotely through these countries, which takes approximately 2 to 6 months. Knowledge of the language or residency in these countries is not necessary. However, one must live in the country of second citizenship for at least 3 years before applying for the E2 visa. How to get an American passport through the EB1C visa. To qualify for the EB1C visa, applicants must have worked as a manager or executive outside the US for at least 1 year within the 3 years before the application. The company the applicant intends to work for in the US should have been in business for at least 1 year and have a qualifying relationship with the entity that employed the applicant abroad. If the applicant already works for the same company, they should be the most recent lawful non-immigrant admission there. The process for obtaining an EB1C visa involves the employer filing Form I-140, Petition for Alien Worker, with a fee of $700. The employer must also demonstrate their ability to pay the offered wage through an annual report, federal income tax return, or audited financial statement. A labor certification is not required for this visa category. The employer must provide a statement confirming the beneficiary's compliance with the requirements, the company's 1-year business history in the US, the company's ability to pay the employee's salary, the duties the beneficiary will perform, and the continued operation of the qualifying entity abroad. Family members, including the spouse and unmarried children under 21, can also apply for immigrant status if the applicant's petition is approved and they are eligible for the EB1C visa. After living in the US for 5 years, managers or executives with the EB1C visa can apply for American citizenship through naturalization. Requirements under the EB5 visa. The EB5 visa program provides a convenient pathway to obtaining a green card and eventually American citizenship. While it may appear to be a US passport by investment, it is a naturalization process. The annual quota for EB-5 visas is typically around 10,000, but for 2023 it's been increased to 13,987. To apply for an EB-5 visa, applicants must invest in a US company, either independently or through a regional center. Regional centers are private or government organizations that promote economic development in specific states and have projects approved for foreign investment by the US CIS. The requirements for an EB-5 visa include investing a minimum of $800,000 in a company located in rural areas or regions with an unemployment rate of 1.5 times higher than the national average. For other regions, the minimum investment is $1,050,000. The invested company must have been created by the investor or be established no later than November 29, 1990. It should be a for-profit business, and the investment must create 10 jobs for qualified American employees. The investment cannot be a loan to U.S. companies, and the investor is not guaranteed a return on investment. The legal source of funds must be confirmed, and the investor must actively participate in the management and day-to-day operations of the business or be involved in shaping the company's strategy. Investments made through regional center projects have simpler requirements. It is not necessary to create 10 jobs personally. It is sufficient if the regional center has already created them. This option allows investors to have a passive role in company management, earn passive income ranging from 0.25% and 2% per annum, and have the possibility of returning the invested funds in 5 years or more. How to obtain US citizenship through the EB-5 visa. Obtaining US citizenship through the EB-5 visa involves several stages and typically takes around 12 to 14 years to complete. The first stage is to search for a suitable investment project, either by opening a business or finding an existing company or regional center project. Once the project is chosen, the applicant makes the required investment, such as transferring funds to a company account. The next step is submitting an I-526 petition to the US CIS, which includes detailed information about the investor, their family, and the business in which the investment is made. Supporting documents such as proof of investment, legality of funds, and a business plan are attached to the petition. Processing the petition by US CIS can take 3 to 4 years. If the application is approved, the investor and their family are interviewed at the US Embassy in their country and granted conditional green cards, which are temporary residence permits valid for 2 years. During the conditional green card period, the investor must fulfill program requirements, such as creating and maintaining 10 jobs and spending more than 6 months a year in the US. Failure to meet these conditions may result in the cancellation of the green card. After living in the US for a year and 9 months, the investor can file an I-829 petition with the US CIS to change their status and obtain a permanent green card. This petition involves demonstrating that the business is operating as planned, fulfilling all requirements, and creating and preserving jobs. The review process for an I-829 petition takes approximately 5.5 years. If the investor has met all the requirements, they and their family will receive permanent green cards valid for 10 years. 5 years after obtaining the permanent green card, the investor becomes eligible to apply for US citizenship. This process requires meeting certain criteria, including residing in the US for more than 183 days per year, maintaining a clean legal record, passing a basic English test, and undergoing a naturalization interview, assessing knowledge of US history and government. For married couples and children over 18, separate application and tests are required. Children under 18 automatically receive citizenship with their parents and are not required to take tests. That's it for this episode about US citizenship. Visit immigrantinvest.com for detailed information about the EB-5 visa and other investment programs, or to book a meeting with Immigrant Invest lawyers who can help find answers to tricky questions. Take the next step towards your global opportunities and secure your future with Immigrant Invest. And see you in the next episodes of Passport Talks.
You are listening to Passport Talks, a podcast on how to become a true cosmopolitan, how to travel the world without visas, create a safe haven for your family, and access top-notch education and healthcare with a second passport or residency.